Tonight we're speaking to the woman who made history by finishing the 1,000-mile Iditarod Trails Invitational. She did it on skis. Sunny Strower is only one of 5 people to have ever done this in the history of the race. Here's her story.
Braving negative temperatures, sometimes skiing 20 hours a day.
Just because you can talk to the outside world doesn't mean that somebody can get in and help you.
All by herself, making history. Sunny Strower from Kanab is the first and only woman to ski the Iditarod Trail Invitational and finish the 1,000-mile course. Strower began in Anchorage, Alaska, skiing 950 miles over the course of 29 days, 22 hours, and 6 minutes, finishing March 26th in Nome. Strower says she wasn't much of a backcountry skier before signing up for the challenge, so what made her want to do this?
When I first signed up to try and attempt the 300-mile distance, the reason that I did that actually was because I thought that I'd be interested in potentially skiing through the South Pole at some point. And not being a skier, I was like, well, I got to learn, I got to train somehow. How do I do that? Seems like a race like this would be a nice way of doing it because you have other people in the race, you have a defined course, you have a little bit of support and aid along the way. That's why I started with the 300 a couple of years ago. And then going through that experience was so difficult and so challenging and so transformative that I knew before I had even finished the 300-mile version that I wanted to come back and try it again.
And she didn't just finish the race, but became the first woman to do it.
Crossing the finish was pretty emotional. It was pretty amazing. In some ways, it was relief that I was able to stop moving and that I didn't have to try hard again the next day.
And here's an average day on the trail for her.
I'd spent 30 days on the course, 30 days just getting up in the morning, strapping my skis on, and knowing that I was going to be out on the course, on the trail, in temperatures down to negative 50 degrees and rough winds and really, really difficult environments for 12, 14, 16, 21 hours.
And that became a daily routine.
This morning when I woke up and my alarm rang, I was like, where are my skis? How far do I have to go today? It became a new normal.
It wasn't just about skiing. It was about staying alive.
Having to deal with forward progress being the only way for me to extricate myself from that, but getting more and more tired and running lower and lower in calories and getting colder and colder. That was really scary because I knew I had no option. The only thing that I could do is keep moving. And the other thing that was a ritual for me was getting ready and doing my foot care and getting ready with my ski setup every morning because you can imagine putting 40 to 50 miles a day onto your feet is, that's hard. It's a lot of strain.
Sometimes the loneliness really hit.
Well, I text my family and loved ones on my GPS communicator. That was one thing that was really nice. And the other thing that I did is play music on my phone speaker and, listen to Hotel California and a bunch of other things and just try to, to remember that no matter how I felt, I knew it was going to change because that's the truth. Not just in ultra endurance events, I think, but in life in general.
And now she says she's slowly recovering.
It's been weird being in warmer temperatures. I love it, not having to worry about frostbite, right? That's a huge relief. And at the same time, what I've noticed, particularly at night, actually, my body is still very much in overdrive. At night, I feel like I'm going through menopause right now because I'm just sweating and I'm hot even though the temperatures are pleasant. So my body is still a little bit confused and I think it'll take some time for it to catch up.
Wow, what are we doing with our lives, huh? Strower says she'll give herself a break of a couple of weeks before she sets off on the next big adventure. What an incredible person.